Okay, so yesterday's games out the way. As we see we see a couple of penalty misses. Not so many screamers was there, none of us for which we can go out on the pitch and score some bangers.
Nah, 4 games, bit of a disappointment really actually in the end.
Yeah.
Some exciting players and games that showed up. Peru I was very impressed with.
Attacked very well, yeah. They were so unlucky to lose that game, man, Jesus.
But today's video is going to be all about that man.
The GOAT.
Lionel Messi.
Lionel Messi. So everyone talking about the GOAT, Leo Messi, aren't they? Obviously Ronaldo the day before lights up the World Cup, and obviously time to shine. I reckon Messi did watch that game, and he's only human, isn't he? He only wants to go out there, he wants to see what Ronaldo's doing. He is the other GOAT, if you like, but it wasn't the day, was it, for Messi?
Nah, is it? And I mean, a lot of it is to do with his teammates, I do believe that, and the way they've set up. So that is what today's video is going to be about. It is analysing Argentina's game, specifically how Messi played and what he could have done and what they need to change to be successful at this tournament, because if they don't change anything, they are not going to be successful. We are adamant with that. So we've covered a couple of things. Before we get to it, here are some stats on Messi yesterday.
Messi took a total of 11 shots on goal, no goals.
He had 71 passes, 84.5 successful. Of those 71, only 3 were key passes, which is pretty low for him.
So in possession, Messi had 9 successful dribbles, and he was fouled 4 times throughout the game.
Dispossessed 7 times, which is quite a high amount, and he also took 3 bad touches. If you put that in context, for Barcelona this season, he had an average of 1.4 bad touches per game, so over double as many as he usually has. So now that we've got the stats out the way, let's talk about 3 key points that we think Argentina need to look at.
Yeah, so the first point is Messi's receiving positions. When he received the ball, where he was in relation to the pitch, he was so deep.
Incredible, like in his own half a lot of the time getting the ball.
Yeah, so ineffective receiving the ball.
The next thing is the lack of movement by his teammates. Obviously with Barcelona, that's what they're so good at. Fullbacks getting round, wingers tucking inside, runs all over the show, especially with Suarez up top now. But there was just, Argentina's movement was so poor. The wingers were static. Di Maria especially just hanging out on the left wing, never coming inside.
Rotation in midfield was just very, very bad day yesterday for Argentina. And the third point we're going to make is when Argentina had the ball and they're trying to find Messi, they couldn't find the ball to his feet. They were too slow in turning and trying to find the ball. When he was in a 10 position, they couldn't get him the ball.
Which is partly why he dropped so deep, right? He wants to get on the ball, he wants to affect the game. If he's not getting it in the 10, his teammates aren't passing it, go and play in the 4 where at least he's going to get the ball.
So in this first clip, as you can see, Messi receives the ball, takes a touch, looks forward, not much happening, takes more touches, ending up dribbling halfway across the pitch, out to left hand side. Unsuccessful play, really. Yeah,
and I mean, he does this for Barcelona as well. He does drop very deep, but when he does, there's rotation in front of him. Iniesta will go in front, someone will tuck in off the side, whether it's Suarez coming in or Jordi Alba going wide so that the wingers can come inside. But for Argentina, there's just none of that here, and it's just so static. He's dropped into the 4, and now there's that massive space in the 10.
Did Di Maria play yesterday?
Oh, I don't know, did he? Okay, so the next one, Messi receives the ball in his own half. 11 Icelandic players between him and the goal he's trying to score against. Exactly where you want him if you're a defender, right? You want him as far away from your goal with as many people behind the ball as possible. He does quite well here, but again, like if we pause it here, just the lack of movement and the lack of options for him is frightening.
He's having to obviously go alone by himself, having to penetrate Iceland all by himself, and he ends up finding feet forward and he ends up doing alright out of it, but it just takes too long, and if he can't do it quick enough, and hence Iceland can then get back in, get in their shape, and it's too easy to play against.
And you can't do that over and over. You can't receive the ball in the 4 and go on a mazy run. This isn't school football where you can do that. This is the top level. This is the World Cup.
It's like a kid in a playground, ain't it?
And he's trying to get the ball, trying to make things happen, and his teammates are like, go on your own.
Okay, so in this next clip, Messi's higher up the pitch, gets a turn on, dribbling forward. What's ahead of him?
everyone's running away. No one's really making a dynamic run to get in behind. No one's coming feet, and you can see Iceland here with their 2 banks of 4. It's so hard to break down and narrow that you need constant movement to drag them out of position, and there just isn't anything.
It's like you could throw a big net over all of them. They're so close together. The two forward players, I think it was Aguero and Di Maria, both making the same run. It's too easy.
Yeah.
Okay, in this next clip, good rotation by the way. Messi's got on the ball. We say rotation because that means the defensive midfield players got beyond Messi, where obviously roles reversed here. We'd like to see Messi being the higher point for his team here with Byles on the ball, but good rotation.
Yeah, so Byles actually does well as well. He stretches the play, he makes that run in behind, and that's where Aguero should then come into the 10 because you've got opposite movements. Whereas the run doesn't come off of Byles, so he then spins, then comes in, and the defender's still on him. So when Messi does play to him, everything's going back towards their own goal, and it just gets snuffed out, and it's all a bit off the cuff. There's no, Aguero doesn't recognise it, which is strange as well. We're used to seeing him so good for Man City, and he just looked a shadow of himself other than the goal. I just feel sometimes he's playing close because he feels he has to, when Messi plays the ball, he's in the team just to set Messi back. I think his role in the team is a lot different to the one at Man City. Yeah. Okay, so again, Messi receives it deep, and you can see the Iceland midfielder pressing up towards him, which does create that space though, which is what you want. So it creates that space between defense and midfield. Messi dribbles in a little bit, tries to find a pass, doesn't really come off, but then his reaction is incredible, isn't it? Yeah, so he plays a forward pass, defender blocks it, but his reaction, like Jesse says, he steps onto it, he anticipates where the ball's going to go, which therefore creates a chance for himself, because now he's in that high position, he's in the 10, but he's got there himself, he gets the ball at his feet and he has a shot, makes the keeper make a save. So once again, it's so compact, Messi on the ball, looking for options, and this is where we feel the wingers should be coming in and the fullbacks going around like they do for Barcelona. The Jordi Alba run where he comes around and Messi finds that pass, but again, a lack of movement here. He's more central here, he's obviously facing up, got 3 players around him. But as you can see in this clip, there's 3 to 4 Argentina players over on the same side. Aguero's obviously working his way across centrally, but it's just too late. They need to do it as Messi's receiving the ball, rather than when he's actually received and already turned. So again, lack of movement, and this is just what killing Argentina. It's as simple as that. Yeah. Okay, so Messi's now got the ball, and it's a great bit of movement from Aguero actually. He's actually timed his run to perfection. Yeah, the first time we've seen this. Messi dropping deeper, like we said so many times, which creates that space because the midfield press up. There's all this space in the 10 now. And finally, as the midfield, the Icelandic midfielder turns his back to Aguero, Aguero darts inside, and Messi, of course, finds him. Creates a little bit of space, nothing really comes of it. Goes wide. But finally, we've seen something, and this is the first clip in the second half. This is the 46th minute, I think. Yeah. So finally, I'm thinking, yes, they've had a talk at half time, they've spoken about it, and they fixed it. They haven't. No. Okay, so this clip is a good example of Argentina without Messi. He's dragged over to one side, which has dragged all these Icelandic defenders over to one side, and instead of Mascherano just popping it into him, just giving it, he can give it back, Mascherano's played a long ball over, and it's like when Messi doesn't get the ball, there's this lack of creativity in there. It's like, what do we do? Yeah. And we've seen it when Messi has been on the bench for Argentina or not even played. They are not the same team. They are very, very poor. Which is strange though, because in this clip, like again, if we pause it here, you can see Messi is attracting all these defenders, so everyone else's job should be easier. They need to capitalise on that. But that's what I would think, is like Aguero should then come to life, or Di Maria. You see them do it for their respective clubs, but they're just not here. Very passive yesterday, I thought. So passive. Obviously Aguero got the goal, fair play, it was a good finish, but Di Maria specifically was, when you think of a man who's played in the Premier League, scored amazing goals, Champions League player. Played so well for BSG this year. So bad. Yeah. Okay, so defenders have got the ball here. We'll circle Messi because he's high, he's in a better position than he has been. However, things change from here, don't they? Look, as the clip rolls on, just watch it. Messi, he's dropping deeper, and then finally gets it a yard in the opponent's half. He's looking for it, and his teammates aren't finding him in those spaces. You can see he's like, all right, if you're not going to find me in there, I'm dropping deep and I'm going to get it. Frustration, isn't it? That's all it has. So as you see here, Messi receives the ball. He's got a lot of time around him. His head is up. He's looking for runs. Doesn't get runs. Ends up playing safe.
it comes back to him, but then he has to go back out. He's on the left hand side, he tries to switch the play. We've noticed something really cool here, haven't we?
Yeah, so if you're just watching the game passively, you probably didn't notice this, but as Messi plays back, plays deep, he looks over at Aguero and he like puts his arm up in the air like any movement going or get inside.
Aguero's 5 yards from him.
Exactly, and if you look again, look, we'll pause it here as Messi does it. Look at all of this space in the 10 and where the strikers should be, where the movement should be. There is nothing. And Messi's asking for it and he's just not getting it.
We're so appreciative of Luis Suarez and the role he does for Barcelona. Allow him, he's unselfish movement.
So Messi gets the ball in a much better position here. He's higher up, he's looking for movement, but look, if we pause it here, you can tell what formation they're playing. Argentina, a classic 4-3-3, and look, there's no movement. You can see the fullback's actually sneaking up on the left-hand side here. But Di Maria's just standing wide. He's like, I'm not moving inside.
I'm looking at Aguero here. And you see Aguero, the ball's coming towards him. He's holding the defender off. He's not moving. He's just holding his position. It's like he's been told to just always be available to feet for Messi to bounce back.
But then look, the problem becomes even more apparent here because then Messi does play it into Aguero, and because he's been fighting him for 5 seconds, by the time it gets played in, it all just crumbles in. It plays into him and Messi's looking for the return, but they just, all the defenders are like, nope, we're coming right in there because we know what you're trying to do, and this is so obvious.
Yeah. Okay, so this clip here is just highlighting Messi that when he does get a turn forward, how dangerous he can be, isn't it?
Yeah. Like, as soon as he starts driving at defence, he's in between midfield and defence for the first one of the few times this game, and you can feel it. Iceland are scared, and as he's driving, he plays off to Banega and he makes another run, but finally a bit of life in there. He looks more dangerous. Yeah. Look how bad this is. Oh my gosh. So as Messi picks up the ball here, there's 2 lines of Iceland midfielders. I think Aguero who's up top is offside. And they got one option, which is the left winger. It's just,
he's in the centre circle again. He's just standing there like, it's laughable.
What do you do?
This clip is laughable. Right, classic Messi here, isn't he?
Yeah.
Receiving the ball right up into the box, getting turns on. Obviously he's got a lot of players around him, but Messi gets out of trouble when he has to.
And it's much better here. Again, he's causing problems when he's on the edge of the box. They can't step in anymore. Those banks start to collapse, those 2 lines of 4, and they look threatening. Yeah. But when he's so deep, they can't do that. So this is exactly, they need more of this.
Yeah, because they can be tight in around these areas. Because this is where he is the best. It doesn't matter. When it's tight and it's high up the pitch, it's hard for Argentina, but ineffective. But here, it doesn't matter. He can create. He finds feet. He finds Aguero's feet, backing in, and they do well for me, to be fair.
Does well. Okay, so again, Messi receiving the ball in the 10, gets on the half turn, faces the defender up and tries his classic whip left foot into the far post, and it almost comes off, again highlighting how important it is for Messi to get in a 10 for Argentina.
And to play forward.
Exactly. They find him, so all those things we've spoken about, them not finding him quick enough, they do that here. Messi being higher in the 10, he does that here. And a little bit of movement around him as well. Look at the spacing of the other players. They've done that here. So the 3 things we've highlighted as their problems, they've done it here and they almost scored from it.
They finally figured it out, and I thought this one was in.
Yeah, so did I. I was off my feet and then went wide. Okay, we're going to speed this clip up here just to show. Look, Messi's positioning is pretty good here. He has got someone marking him the whole time. And look at Iceland. Always have someone screening that pass into him, but again, Argentina just don't look like they can find him quick enough.
No, they're not obviously receiving the ball. No one's looking up, where's Messi, where's Messi? And credit to Iceland, the shape was really good, but there are ways around it. There was ways where you can play into people, play around corners to create space to find Messi, but it was like Mascherano. Every time he got it, he was just going wide. It was the easy option.
Yeah, exactly. Not trying to infiltrate, trying to press through lines, and it just faded out.
And towards the end of the game as well, how many times has he tried it? I think he knew it, but it just weren't his day, was it?
And I mean, we've covered those 3 things, and they're the 3 things that Argentina needs to change, that we believe anyway, to be successful. But I mean, if Messi scores that penalty, we're not here talking about them, are we? They win a game and it kind of, they go on and go to the next game, but they need to do something, we believe, for Messi to be really successful in Argentina, but we can only wait until the next game.
Still the greatest.
Yeah, he's still the greatest. Okay, so enough about Messi. We do love him, but we're gonna stop there. So yesterday's predictions, we both predicted a Croatia win, which they did. I said 3-1 Croatia, which was in fact wrong. What did you predict?
I went and I got the score right, didn't I? I got 2-0 to Croatia, so that puts me on 4 points. Jesse
on 2.
On 2.
Yeah. Moving on to today's game. Which game are we going to choose? Some big ones. I've got them on. We're going to go for them.
This is the Germany away kit. Yeah, so it's Germany versus Mexico, and I've heard such great things about Mexico. They look sharp, man. They really do. They do. There is another big game. It's Brazil versus Switzerland, so that one will be a key game as well.
Yeah. Okay, prediction for Germany against Mexico. What are you going for?
Give me a minute. Give me a minute. All right, I'm gonna go for 2-1 to Mexico.
Wow.
Sorry,
okay,
mate.
so this is the first time we're not going for the same team to win. I'm gonna go same score, opposite result. I'm gonna go 2-1 Germany. I'm gonna say Mexico to score first, Germany to come back and win it.
Alright.
But yeah, so something a little different today. We analysed the game rather than being out on the field. Let us know in the comments below what you thought of this and whether you like the structure or not. And yeah, if you have any ideas for what we should do next and what you think of Messi and Argentina, if you agree or disagree with our opinions, we'd love to know.
Yeah, leave your score predictions below. If you get it right, you'll be on the screen tomorrow, maybe. But yeah, subscribe, hit the bell. Make sure you don't miss out on our video. See you tomorrow, guys. Peace.